If you like the idea of dividend stocks but hate the idea of waiting forever to get paid those dividends, then this series is for you.
Why didn't you say so? Let's go!
Welcome back to the channel, or welcome to the channel if it's your very first time here. My name is Troy, and in this series, I spend hours doing research to find the hidden gems of the dividend world so you don't have to.
Our hero!
This week, there were only 64 stocks that had an ex-dividend date between June 23rd and June 27th of 2025. 22 of those stocks showed that they can not only pay, but also grow their dividend for at least 5 consecutive years, and only 4 of those stocks were able to make the risk of investing into individual stocks worth it by also outperforming the S&P 500 over a long period of time. I then made sure those 4 stocks didn't suck and put them in the order you're going to see today. It's important for you guys to put this series on your calendar and tune in each and every Friday at 8 a.m. Central Standard Time when it comes out, because every single stock from today's video is going to have an ex-dividend date of this coming week, which simply put is the date you must own the stock before in order to get the next dividend from that company.
Understood.
Now, really quick, before we get to the good stuff, do me a favor and tap on that like button to tell YouTube I'm doing good work over here. And now let's kick this list off with number 4, Cincinnati Financial, stock ticker CINF. Including today's video, this is now the second time I've spoken about this stock on this series, including one selection in a row. And if you go back to the very first time I spoke about it, which was episode 39 or March 10th of 2023, Cincinnati Financial is averaging over 15% since then, but is still underperforming the S&P. So let's see what the numbers say on this one. Cincinnati Financial is a quarterly payer in the financial sector, paying $3.48 per share per year with a forward dividend yield of 2.37%. Cincinnati Financial has been paying and growing their dividend for the last 65 years. They have a 3-year dividend growth rate of 8.56%, a 5-year dividend growth rate of 7.68%, and a payout ratio sitting at 42.45%. Now, at the time of recording, Cincinnati Financial was trading 9.51% off of their 52-week high. They have an ex-dividend date of June 23rd with a payout date of July 15th, and looking at their chart over the past 10 years, a single lump sum $10,000 investment would have grew into $38,542.42, which did outperform the S&P 500 by $4,585.38. Next up on this week's list, coming in at number 3, earning the bronze medal, is Terreno Realty, stock ticker TRNO. Including today's video, this is now the second time this stock has been mentioned in this series, including 2 selections in a row. And if you go back to the first time I spoke about it, which was earlier this year in episode 145, March 21st of 2025 to be specific, TRNO is underperforming and has actually lost money since that first mention earlier this year. But let's see why this one came in at number 3. TRNO is a quarterly payer in the real estate sector, paying $1.96 per share per year with a forward dividend yield of 3.36%. Terreno Realty has been paying and growing their dividend over the last 15 years. They have a 3-year dividend growth rate of 12.19%, a 5-year dividend growth rate of 12.83%, and a payout ratio sitting at 77.29%, keeping in mind that this is a REIT and they have to have higher payout ratios. At the time of recording, Terreno Realty was trading nearly 18% off of their 52-week high. They have an ex-dividend date of June 27th with a payout date of July 11th, and looking at their chart over the past 10 years, that $10,000 investment would have grew into $37,183.26, which outperformed the S&P 500 in the same time frame by $3,226.22. Now, this is a shorter list this week, so we're already halfway through. If you guys haven't already, please use that like button, as I told you guys earlier in the video. And if you guys really want to help me grow the channel, please use that comment section down below, as YouTube likes that the most in the algorithm. You guys can let me know what you guys think of this week's list, or if you guys own any of the stocks from this week's list and which ones look the most interesting to you. But now let's get to the rest of the list. Next up on this week's list, earning the silver medal, coming in at number 2, is Bank First, stock ticker BFC. Including today's video, this is now the 8th time I've talked about this stock in this series, including 4 selections in a row. And if you go back to the very first time I spoke about it, which was the very first time I spoke about any stock in episode 1, or June 17th of 2022, BFC over the past 3 years has brought in nearly 18% year-over-year gains. But believe it or not, that still underperforms the S&P 500 since then. But this one still has some awesome numbers, so let's check it out. BFC is a quarterly payer in the financial sector, paying $1.80 per share per year with a forward dividend yield of 1.61%. BFC has been paying and growing their dividend over the last 12 years. They have a 3-year dividend growth rate of 24.26%. They have a 5-year dividend growth rate of 15.58% and a payout ratio sitting at 23.75%. Now, at the time of recording, BankFirst was trading nearly 6% off of their 52-week high. They have an ex-dividend date of June 25th with a payout date of July 9th. And looking at their chart over the past 10 years, that $10,000 investment would have grew into $55,133.57, which did outperform the S&P 500 by $21,176.53. And that brings us to number 1, the stock you must know about going in the next week, which is WR Berkeley, stock ticker WRB. Including today's video, this is now the second time I've spoken about this stock right here on my channel, including one selection in a row. And if you go back to the very first time I spoke about it, which was episode 119, or in September of last year, WRB has an annualized gain over 40% since that first mention, which does outperform the S&P 500 since then. So let's dive in right here. WRB is a quarterly payer in the financial sector, paying 36 cents per share per year with a forward dividend yield of just 0.49%. WRB has been paying and growing their dividend for the last 23 years. They have a 3-year dividend growth rate of 11.46%, a 5-year dividend growth rate of 10.35%, and a payout ratio that makes it all sustainable because it sits at just 7.53%. Now, at the time of recording, WR Berkeley was only trading a little bit over 4% off of their 52-week high. They have an ex-dividend date of June 23rd, and you'll get paid before the end of the month at June 30th. And if you look at their chart over the past 10 years, they would have turned that $10,000 into $59,364.59, which did outperform the S&P 500 over that 10-year time frame by $25,407.55. With that being said, that does conclude this week's video. But before you go, I need you guys to remember 3 dates. This video comes out on June 20th of 2025. The earliest ex-dividend date from some of the stocks in this week's video is June 23rd of 2025, meaning your decision would be due by June 20th when this video comes out, or you could just miss the ex-dividend date from half the stocks in this week's list, making you wait 3 months before your first payment, and we all know what Sweet Brown says.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
With that being said, you 100% missed every ex-dividend date from last week's list, but if you're in the market for 5 super high quality dividend stocks, you can check that video out right here. But until next time, see ya.